Welcome back, everyone. In part one, we talked about why $100 is enough to get started and how the right mindset makes all the difference. Today, we're moving into the fun part, the actual options you have when it comes to investing your first $100.
Yeah, and this is where most beginners freeze up. Because let's be honest, when you open an investing app or a brokerage account, you're instantly hit with thousands of choices. Stocks, bonds, ETFs, crypto, mutual funds. It feels like walking into a supermarket where every aisle is shouting at you, "Pick me!"
Exactly. So let's simplify this. With just $100, you don't need to know everything right away. Think of it like ordering from a restaurant menu for the first time. You don't have to try every single dish. You just need a good, safe starting point.
Option 1. Index funds and ETFs. So let's start with what I think is the single best option for beginners, index funds and ETFs. ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. Think of it like a basket. Instead of buying just one company's stock, you're buying a basket of dozens or even hundreds of companies.
For example, the S&P 500 ETF. This basket holds the 500 largest U.S. companies: Apple, Microsoft, Google, Coca-Cola, you name it. By putting your $100 into that, you're instantly spreading your risk across 500 companies instead of betting everything on just one.
Right, and the beauty of ETFs is that they're cheap. The fees are usually tiny, especially if you pick popular ones like Vanguard's VOO or SPY, so your $100 is actually working for you, not getting eaten up by management costs.
Option 2. Individual stocks. Now, some people like the idea of owning individual stocks. Maybe you love Apple products and want to own a piece of Apple. Or maybe you believe Tesla will dominate the future of electric cars. The good news is, with fractional shares, you don't need to spend $200 or $300 on one share. You can buy $10 worth of Apple, $20 worth of Tesla, and still have some money left over.
But here's the caution. When you buy individual stocks, you're taking on more risk. One bad earnings report, one scandal, and your $100 investment could drop to $80 overnight. That's why I usually recommend ETFs for total beginners. But if you want to experiment and learn, putting $20 or $30 into a stock you believe in is a good way to get your feet wet.
Option 3. Bonds and safer assets. Let's not forget the safer side of investing. Bonds are basically loans you give to governments or companies, and in return, they pay you interest. With $100, you won't be buying individual government bonds directly, but you can buy bond ETFs. These are safer than stocks, but the returns are lower. Think of it as a cushion. It won't make you rich, but it protects you from losing too much.
Exactly. If you're super risk-averse, maybe put $30 of your $100 into a bond ETF and the other $70 into stocks or index funds. That way you've got some balance.
Option 4. Crypto, the wild card. Let's be real. A lot of beginners are drawn to it because it feels exciting, almost like the future. With $100, you can buy fractions of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even other coins.
But here's the warning label. Crypto is volatile. Prices can swing 20% in a single day. If you're investing $100 and want to experiment, I'd say keep it to 5 to 10% of your money. So maybe $10 in Bitcoin and the rest in safer assets like ETFs. That way you get exposure to the potential upside without blowing everything on hype.
Option 5. Alternative paths. Here's something people don't always think about. Investing doesn't only mean stocks and crypto. You could put $100 into yourself. Maybe buy a book on personal finance, enroll in a cheap online course, or even start a small side hustle. That $100 could become knowledge or a skill that earns you way more money in the future.
I love that point. Because financial investing is important, but self-investing is the multiplier. Imagine learning a new skill that allows you to increase your income. Suddenly, instead of only having $100 to invest each month, you've got $500. That's when compounding really kicks in.
How to divide your $100. So let's put this all together. If I had $100 today and I was starting from zero, I'd probably go $70 into an ETF like the S&P 500, $20 into a stock I like just for fun and learning, and $10 into crypto, just to keep me engaged and curious.
I'd take a slightly different approach. I'd do $80 in an ETF, $10 in bonds or a bond ETF for safety, and $10 into crypto. Nothing too crazy, but enough to cover all the bases.
Closing part 2. So that's the menu. ETFs for safety and diversification, stocks for learning and upside, bonds for stability, crypto for curiosity, and self-investment for growth. With just $100, you can actually touch all of these areas.
And in part 3, we're going to talk about the actual mechanics. Like, how do you open an account? What apps are easiest to use? And how to avoid common beginner mistakes when you're setting up.
That's the part where we really go hands-on. So stick around because if part 1 was about mindset and part 2 was about options, part 3 is going to be your step-by-step guide to actually getting started.